seems like two big games in a row. Almost the bigger the game, the better this team has played. The way the season's going so far.
Yeah, I think they had a great week of training, and understand that how you train during the week is how you play on Saturday. And I think these guys have really started to figure that out. So we had confidence going into the game, but our confidence going into the game was based on demonstrated ability. They trained at a really high level this week, and when you're playing 6 games into the season and it's your best week of training, those are the results. And so the tough thing is you can't replicate that every week, or at least that's the challenge. So those guys got to understand that. So I told them, if you fall in love with the process will love you back, and that's what was on display tonight. So
this felt like a pretty complete victory against a really good team, offense and defense.
Yeah, and special teams. I think our return game did a really, really nice job. I think all phases, and to be a good football team, you're going to need all phases, and I think they've handled it. We've always talked about 3 things happen during a game: momentum swings, adversity, and just random acts. And losing Blay early, our guys didn't miss a beat. He's the leader for us on the back end, but he's out, and so he's out for the rest of the game. So it was next man up, and I think credit to that group on the back end. I thought they did a really good job against an outstanding quarterback. I've got all the respect in the world for Cam Rising.
Coach, you've always talked about the process. How happy are you for these players to experience this, to go through the grind last several seasons, and now to put together a 6-0 record?
Yeah, and that's what it's about. How much work you put in. The great thing about football is you can't fake it. Once you get across the white line, pretenders get exposed. You have to put the work in, and it's hard. The best thing this team does, and I got this from Buzz Williams at A&M, Texas A&M, a good friend of mine, but the best thing this team does is every day, and the hardest thing they do is every day. But they come to work every single day, and it's paying off for them on Saturday. So it's really cool to watch that. You see it kind of metamorphosize in front of your face, and it's really cool.
I think we ask you this every post game, but DTR just once again, big numbers, and now the all-time leading touchdown quarterback in UCLA history. What can you say about him?
Yeah, it's pretty cool for him. What Dorian has done, the work he's put in. I think people don't realize, if you don't see him on a daily basis, how important being good is. It takes a lot for a quarterback. There's way more than just films and meetings and all those other things. There's so much work you have to do on your own, and he's invested a ton in himself, and he's reaping the rewards of that investment. But really happy for him. See how he's grown as a person and how he's grown as a leader. It's cool to watch, and it's well deserved. When you start to think about the quarterbacks in the history of UCLA, that's a pretty cool list to be on. So I'm really happy for Dorian, and it's well deserved.
Chip, congratulations. Early on in the season, obviously some people who observed the team were not that impressed with the wins UCLA was having, but after these 2 games, is the team markedly different, improved from those first 3 games where, again, some people weren't that impressed with what UCLA was doing, or is this the same team we saw in the first 3 games?
Yeah, I think we've gotten better each week. And the cool part about this group is that our goal is to be the most prepared team and the least distracted team. So I don't think any of us are governed by the fear of what other people say. It's a tough society nowadays with likes and everybody. Do they like this? Do they like that? Just go play football, and that's the fun part. The best part about football is football, and our kids really enjoy playing football, and that's what you see on display today. So.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. But you do see a market improvement.
Market? No, I don't see a market improvement.
Tell me.
I'm telling you, I don't see a market improvement. I saw a really good football team last spring. I saw a really good football team in week 1, and I see a really good football team in week 6. I think we've gotten better incrementally from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 to week 4, because we're all a byproduct of our experiences. But markedly, it wouldn't be a word that's in my vocabulary.
Okay, thanks.
Hey Chip, just to follow up on DTR, yeah, arguably his best game was the Bruin last week, followed up with a game like this today. Is this the best stretch that he's played?
Did you see him play in the Coliseum last year? When he threw for 4 and ran for 2? Or the year before, when he went 30 for 35 against them? He's had a lot of really good games. I think some of us have selective memory when it comes to Dorian, but I don't. I appreciate everything. Every day he plays here, and every day I get a chance to coach him.
Would you call it recency bias on my end?
I would call it whatever you want to call it. I've never heard of recency bias.
Thank you.
That's a good word. I like that.
I'll blame this on the radio broadcast people. They were saying at the end, boy, we could have won by 24, and here we're going up by much, like just a cup of coffee, it looks like in the papers tomorrow. And the same thing for Washington. Are you a little disappointed that the scores aren't really what is more indicated in the game?
Huh?
Is the scores are much tighter than the actual game. They got a couple cheapies at the end, and now here you got an interception to make it closer. Does it bother you at all? They were talking on the radio that the score is much closer than the actual game was to be played out.
Do you know what Herm Edwards is?
Mm-hmm.
And Herm had a great quote: "You play to win the game. That's all that counts."
I want to ask about Zach Charbonnet, nearly 200 yards rushing. What kind of stability does he bring to this offense?
Yeah, Zach's our workhorse in the amount of work he puts in. You know, I can say that about everybody when you ask a question on individual players, but the work ethic and dedication, the physicality that he plays with, you feel really confident in handing him the ball because it's always going to be a positive result when you give him the football. But again, he's another guy that what you guys get to see on Saturday is what we see every single day with him, and I think he's done a tremendous job. We're really fortunate to have him.
Has he taken a new step this season?
I think he's taken a new step every game he's played since he's been here, and that's the great thing about Zach. I think he strives to get better on a daily basis, and I think we see that all the time from him.
Chip, with the wins of the past couple weeks, how do you keep the momentum going into the off week and with Oregon in 2 weeks?
Well, we have an improvement week coming up. We're not playing next Saturday, and I think one of the toughest things to do with any team is to kind of replicate what you're doing. But I think it goes back to us, for us personally, just, you know, again, embracing the process and coming back to work. And I know these guys will do that. They've been great for 6. We've got challenges coming up. There's some really good teams still left on our schedule. We're going to have to go on the road. You know, we got 6 games left, 3 on the road, 3 at home. But they'll enjoy this one. They got tomorrow off, and then we'll be back at it on Monday.
And then DTR's TD pass to Loya, is there something that you guys saw that would allow that to be a big game?
Yeah, we just made a slight adjustment at halftime and talked about putting that route in. It actually wasn't in the game plan, but we added it at halftime, and Dorian and Logan and the whole group executed it perfectly. But those are the type of kids we have. We can put stuff in that we hadn't run all week, and they can execute it, and they did. So credit goes to those 2.
Yeah, one more thing about DTR. Do you think he's been nationally overlooked because he's been here so long? Would you like to see him get some Heisman run, that sort of thing?
Bill, that's a great question, but I'm the wrong guy to answer because I don't pay attention to any of that stuff, so I don't know what he gets or doesn't get. I apologize because I know you're on a lot of those shows and I just don't watch them, so I don't know I don't know what he's getting. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think he should be in the talk as one of the better players in this country. If that's the question,
yes.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I don't know because I don't pay attention to that, and I apologize.
Fair enough.
Thanks.
You probably will say this isn't about you, but how does this feel for you to be here and win these types of games and start to get the kind of attention that puts this team where it is?
Yeah, it's not about attention, and I think the thing that makes me so happy is that our players have embraced the process, and what they're seeing is what they're getting out of it, and that's the joy you gain from it. So we have a word that we use in our locker room all the time called Bobo, which I vicariously derive joys from other people. So when I watch our players have success, I see the smiles on their faces. I watch that celebration in the locker room. Those are the things that really get us going as people, and the reasons we get up in the morning and go to work. But for accolades and what's written on the newspaper and all this, and I know that's what you guys do, and I'm not slighting that. It's just I don't really pay attention to that. And if I preach to our players of it being the most prepared and the least distracted, then I can't get caught up with that stuff. So I'm really good at selective ignorance, and there's a lot of things I just don't pay attention to.
I heard you use the word momentum. Is that a word you're using now?
That's a word we use in a game. There are momentum swings that occur in a football game because I think there's a back and forth in a football game. I just don't think there's momentum in college football from week to week because there's still 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, and they live in a society where they're in a TikTok world. Things happen for 10 seconds. So what happened last week, 7 days ago, really doesn't affect what happened the next 7 days, and that's hard, especially when you did something really good last week. You want them to kind of feed off of that, but it's hard now. You know, that part's hard, and that's why I'll give this team credit is that each week they've gotten better and better and better, and then that's the challenge, you know. But you got to be careful. You know, you got to really be careful in dealing with success is just as hard as dealing with adversity. You know how that happens for you. You know what I mean? So the great Denzel Washington quote is, at your highest moment, be careful because the devil's coming for you. So our guys better understand all we've done is win 6 football games, that's it. We're going to get a really good week of improvement this week. We're going to get back at it, and then we're going to go play a really good Oregon team. And that's really what it is. It's not, hey, let's not throw our arm out of socket, pat ourselves on the back. All we've guaranteed ourselves is that we're successful in 6 games. What does that look like at the end of the year? We'll pick our heads up in December and see where we are, but there's still a lot of football for us to be played.
Coach, talking about momentum swings in the game, Muasau had that forced fumble. Can you just talk about how that shifted the game as well as his overall play?
Yeah, Darius has been just a great asset to this football team. He's really the captain in the middle there and does so many good things. I would add to his pick in the first half. When you play a really good football team like Washington last week and like Utah this week, it really becomes about who can hold serve. When we got 2 turnovers, besides the one we got late when we gave back to them, but those 2 turnovers I think were the difference. And then we get out to a lead, and then it's playing catch up. They score, we go down and score again. Now it's a 10-point game again. Then we get out to 17, so it's a 3-score game. So when you do the math at the end of, once it got to 4 minutes in the game, there's not enough time for them to get back into the game because they have to score 3 times to get this thing caught. So, I think those 2 momentum swings that he had in the game, his pick, and then that fumble were huge for us. And he's playing really, really good football for us right now.
All right, thanks, Coach. Mike.
It's a day game.
That's right, Joe.
This isn't like a 9:30 at night game, so it's only like 3 o'clock. So
Hold on, we got places to go.
Well, the fans in Manila are partying right now, Chip.
Fans in Manila just getting up.
Can you expound on the play of your secondary, especially after Blaylock went out? It seemed like they really held outside the numbers.
They did, against a really good group. And I got all the respect in the world for Cam Rising. I think he's done a tremendous job since what he did last year, taking them to a conference championship, taking them to the Rose Bowl against Ohio State. We knew we had our work cut out for you. He's so smart. It's tough. We try to disguise things. He picks those up. He has a lot on his plate. He checks a lot of plays at the line of scrimmage. He puts them in a lot of really good plays and gets them out of a lot of really bad plays. But the way our secondary stepped up, especially after we lost Blay, who's the leader back there, it was awesome to see. And you see some young kids growing in front of your face. That part's pretty cool. So.
And then, apologies if you answered this earlier, I came in late, but did you sense Dorian had an even bigger chip on his shoulder the past couple weeks? Because he came in, sky high after the Washington game and he was talking about people thought we were the worst 4-0 team in America and got that big win, and then he talked this week about that 49-3 loss to Utah and something to prove.
Yeah, I think all great athletes have some type of chip, no pun intended, on their shoulder. You watch The Last Dance and listen to Michael Jordan talk about what he perceives were slights, and the great athletes are intrinsically motivated. And whatever it is that gets them intrinsically motivated, I'm more happy to do it. So if it takes me trying to find some things that people said bad things about him, then we'll do that too. So he keeps playing like he's playing right now. Everybody's gonna be pretty happy and smiling on Saturday. So.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All
right.
Just to follow up on what you said here, because I've been interested in this idea of the motivation. It doesn't bother you for what I would call like artificial motivation. If it's not really there, if it motivates you, it's okay. When you talk about Jordan, because sometimes the things that he perceived as slights, most people would not perceive as slights.
That's what made him great.
Yeah.
And I think that's the special part, how guys can get themselves motivated to perform at a certain level. But when you listen to what Michael did and you listen to what Dorian does, is that motivates him to train. That's not a switch you flip when you walk into the game. Because as I said earlier, pretenders get exposed when they step across the line. If you didn't work the way we worked this week, the results wouldn't have been the same. You just can't wake up Saturday morning pissed off. So you got to put your work in, and I think that's what Michael did, and that's the lessons that I think everybody has to learn, is that it's about putting the time and the effort in. And if it's any type of motivation, I don't care what it is, and I don't have to get into clinical psychology of what is that. Is it a slight that maybe no one knows is a slight? If you think it's a slight and that's going to motivate you, that's a great thing. So, I'll call him a name walking out of here if that's going to make him play better next week. So.
I've always wanted to ask that question.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you.
Go ahead. Do you need help? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just got You only get us 20 minutes. Come on. Should have asked him that. I was like, well, can we now? Right. Oh, that's right. It was right after, right?
Because here's the thing.
This is the funnest season of college football I can remember. This helps.
I'm just kidding. Squeeze by you fellas. But I say, what are the mechanics? It does not.
And especially without 4 and 5 stars. I mean, they do have 4 and 5 stars, but yeah. Yeah.
Carolina Panthers or something like that. He just has to come back.
Yeah.
Dorian, you seem pretty fired up coming off the field again. Was this kind of a repeat of last week for you and just the way the game went and the way you approached it?
Yeah, for sure. Sorry again for my voice. I was out there screaming and yelling, but definitely wanted this one. We all know the history between UCLA and Utah. Haven't beaten them since like 2016. The point differential's been crazy. And so we knew the beast at hand coming in here. And I think my boys went out there and went to work, baby. It was very, very a proud moment for me to see, for sure.
Dorian, all-time leader in touchdowns. What does that mean to you?
That's a really good question. It's great to have my name there. But I think the thing that's made me most emotional right now is seeing how happy my guys in my locker room were for me. The coaching staff, the everybody that's been here since I was a freshman. Just rethinking all the hard times that I went through. All the bickering back and forth, all the transitioning going on throughout the program. I just can't say how thankful I am and how grateful I am to be on this team right now.
Well, actually, all of you now, 6-0. What does that mean to you?
Bowl eligible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Zach, you got anything?
To be honest, it really doesn't mean none. We just got to keep coming in every week. I feel like we got Oregon up next, so we got a little improvement week coming up. We got to improve during that week and then go on to Oregon and be ready. So that's all I'm focused on, and that's what this team's focused on.
Zach, you kind of had the best of both worlds with good blocking, and you made a lot of moves. Can you talk about the big day you had and what went into it?
Yeah, we just got a lot of the looks that we wanted, and obviously the O-line played outstanding. It always helps, be able to have Dorian also. We feed off each other, and just him, a part of the O-line, and the receivers, Jake Bobo, just all playing their butts off, and I think that was a big reason what went into it.
You also made some nice moves and kind of ran a little bit angry there. Can you talk about your job after the line of scrimmage? What allowed you to get those extra yards?
Yeah, that's something we really emphasize, is just being able to make the first guy miss. So I'm just thankful for the line getting me up to the next level and just being able to go one-on-one and make someone miss.
Dorian, the fourth quarter TD pass to Loya, Chip said that you guys added that route in at halftime. Just what did you see that you thought would make that successful?
So they have been mixing up man-zone coverage most of the game. And they have been covering the outsides really well, obviously, keeping us contained. And, we made an adjustment with the backs route, freed up Logan on the shallow. And he did the rest. Credit to Zeke out there blocking his butt off. all the way down the field, escorting Logan into the end zone. But yeah, man, it was an overall team effort for sure. So.
Yeah, Dorian, how much does it, Dorian, over here, how much, over here, how much does the team feed off your passion? And is that something intentionally you try to lead that way?
I try not to pay attention to it as much. I'm more so focused on my job. But, when I can get fiery in there and I can get in the huddle, and most of the time it's really me correcting somebody or somebody correcting me. But I'm just trying to make sure everybody's staying in the game. Everybody's always focused and locked in. And nobody's missing a beat. We can never take our foot off the gas during this game, especially in these type of games where we play really good teams. And so I think that's just the type of thing that I can contribute to the team. It's just making sure everybody's on point all the time.
Because you've been here so many years, do you feel you get overlooked nationally in the Heisman race and other polls, things like that? Do you think you get overlooked?
Yes.
Yeah. I was going to say, I really haven't thought about it that much. It's really my first time thinking about it. I'm focused on this team. That's the reason why I came back for it. I didn't come back for anything personal. I came back to make sure that these boys were in a good spot when I leave here, and to make sure I leave a legacy that's well known to remember. And, I think I'm doing a pretty good job of that right now, and I'm just trying to keep it going forward. I'm here for these boys. I'm not here for myself, and I'm just trying to execute that as best I can for sure.
Did you have the same chip on your shoulders that you did last week?
It's even bigger. It's going to be even bigger in 2 weeks when we go to Oregon. It's going to be bigger after that. I don't care who we're playing. Everybody's going to get the business this year. We're coming, and we're going to take it week by week. We're not focused on anything else but Oregon right now. We got a bye week, and we're going to go into that. So.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
All right, can you give us kind of the PG version of what you said coming off the field?
I said this is our house. This is our house.
Jake, 2 more touchdown catches today. What is it about you and Dorian? Everybody knows you guys have this connection going now, and you guys still just keep it going every week. How are you able to do that?
I think just right place, right time. In the red zone, windows are condensed. Every bullets are flying, especially when you get down there tight. So I take pride in just being a guy that he looks for. I hope he continues to do so. But yeah, like you said, definitely a connection there, and I'm happy that he trusts me to make a play down there.
The 2 you had today, can you talk about those 2 plays? You had the one where you got the 1 foot in. Can you go through that play and how you were able to stay in bounds?
Yeah, great scheme. Kind of had a run fake going left. Linebackers kind of flowed that way, and I was able to slip over the top, and Dorian dropped it in a bucket where only I could get it. And then that second one, we got man coverage, just a little slant across the middle. One stood back there, O-line held up pretty well, I think. I didn't get to see it, obviously. But yeah, just him putting the ball where it needs to be, and I'm thankful that I'm given that opportunity.
You guys are undefeated this deep into the season for the first time since UCLA has done it since 2005. Could be in the top 10 next week. What does does this feel like for all 3 of you right now?
For me, I've never been 6-0, so obviously, I'm going to enjoy this for the next 24 hours. But like Dee said, we're in improvement week, and we got Oregon coming up, going up to Eugene. I think all 3 of us, most of that team in that locker room is wired that way. We're going to enjoy this one for a short little stint, but then, business is business, and we're moving forward.
We want more. We want more. You say top 10, I want top 5. I want top 2. I want it all, Ben. So we want more. I promise you we want more. This is nothing compared to what we want.
We got time for a couple more.
Yeah, Dorian, you talked to Bill about how personal recognition, personally being overlooked, doesn't really affect you. Mm-hmm. About the team being overlooked, maybe on a national level, is that something that drives you?
Yeah, for sure. Everybody has their own personal motivations, and that's one of mine. I see how hard these boys work. I've been with these boys for 5 years now. So I know what this program has been through, if anyone has. So, like I said, I'm just more thankful to be here. But hell yeah, I'm definitely, I read all of it. And, it hurts when other people don't give my boys credit. And I'm going to do everything I can to get these boys enough credit as they deserve. So,
The idea that you bet on yourself by coming back here another year. It's probably, you're in the midst of the fight, so it's probably not really something you think about. But if you could reflect on that, the fact that so far you're winning that bet.
It's a lot easier than you think when you don't think about it that way. Like I said, I came back for this team, and I'm just playing for the other 10 guys on the field, and we're playing as one. We're playing as a unit. We're not playing as a bunch of individuals out there on that field, and it makes my job a lot easier. That game, I barely took a sweat. If it wasn't so hot outside, I barely would have sweated, I think, with how well we worked together out on that field. So, if I would have said I came back to bet on myself, I'd probably be in the dumps, and we'd probably be somewhere not right here. So I think that's why this is a team sport, and that's why I came back.
One more. All right, thank you. This is for either of you. First half, you guys had 14 total points. In the third quarter, 14 points. Fourth quarter, 14 points. What changed after halftime? Did you guys make any adjustments on the offensive end?
I mean, the one schematic kind of adjustment we made, like Dorian said, was that, one route concept that sprung Logan late. But, I mean, the cool thing about this team is I think we get stronger as the game goes on. You kind of see that and have seen that in the last couple games. We pride ourselves as a second-half team. So we can make schematic adjustments here and there, but kind of all those guys know in the locker room when, halftime hits and we come out for the second half, it's on for sure.
Yeah, I think communication plays a big part in that throughout the whole play, throughout the whole being on the sideline, and in between plays, everybody's communicating with each other from the O-line to the tight ends to the running backs to the quarterbacks and all the above. So I think that's a big part in it. His touchdown, we had ran that play before, and it didn't really work out. So we talked about it, fixed it up, and we got it corrected. So I think that's where a lot of our big plays happen. It's just being able to, they're smart guys, I'm a smart guy. When you put a bunch of smart guys together in a room, it turns to work out pretty well. So.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Go
Appreciate it.
That's pretty good.
Any acting chops at all?
Yeah. Darius, over here, you had an interception and you poked the ball out, 2 plays that really changed this game. Please take us through both of those if you could.
All right, so my interception, we ran a little cover 2 base. I dropped back in coverage, reading the quarterback. I know watching film this whole week, they wanted to attack the middle of the field. That's where, most of his charted throws was at, in the middle of the field. So, I just read the quarterback, was able to make a play on the seam. He threw a seam ball from the boundary, so I was able to read that and just take that away. And then that forced fumble. That forced fumble, it was a 4th and 1, short play. Watching film this whole week, we knew what they wanted to do, just downhill runs. That's what they wanted to do the whole game. A little counter action. I saw that on film. I knew I had to just come down and, make a play for the boys. And I was able to put my helmet on the ball. That thing popped out, and Jalen Davies he was Johnny on the spot, picked up the ball. Unfortunately, he didn't get it to the crib, but, Sharp was able to punch it in the next play.
Guys, you get the win against number 11, Utah, big win, 2 in a row against ranked teams, 6-0. What does it mean to you, specifically on the defense, which has gotten a lot of flack last several seasons, actually, to come out and stop Utah the way you guys did?
We just came out there and executed our game plan. We didn't try to make the game too much bigger than what it was. Every week is a big game for us. So we just went out there, we played together, we didn't do nothing more, nothing less. Just came out there as one, control our one of 11, and then just try to execute our game plan. Sorry.
Mo, right here in the middle. Like we talked about this week, you've been here for a really long time. You've seen UCLA through a lot of ups and downs. Like, what does it feel like to go through all of that to get here to now 6-0 for the first time since 2005?
I just feel like it was a part of the process. You can't ever be too high, be too low. So we have to go through that to get to where we at right now. So, we just keep moving forward and, just take it in day by day, game by game, week by week. Don't look too far ahead and just, we focus on Oregon right now. We got a bye week coming up. So just get healthy and then come out there next week ready to play.
Coach Kelly calls it improvement week. What can you guys improve on as a defense?
Something that we can improve on for sure is our run defense. We got to be able to stop the run. Although Utah, they're known for the physical run, downhill run, but we gave up a little too much yards, more than we thought we can hold them to. So for sure, we're gonna in this improvement week, we're gonna fix up our front seven, our D line, outside linebackers, and our inside linebackers. We're gonna just make sure we're tackling well and gap control.
For me, I just feel like just going back to the basics, alignment, assignment, technique, and just getting back to what we know, like not making much more than what we do. We go out there and we play football, so we're going to have plays, we're going to have bad plays, but we go to the film room and we correct them. So at the end of the day, if we just stay together, we're going to be all right. That's how I feel.
Are you giving, or is the defense, the team in general, are you giving yourself a little bit of time to celebrate, or is it just on to the next, focus on the next mission?
Like the other guy said, we're going to enjoy this for a good 24 hours, a short stint, and then we're back to work. This is improvement week, like the other guy said. We're focused on Oregon after this, after today.
Mo, to lose Blay so early, what does it say about the secondary to be able to hold up still against such a great quarterback and such a great team?
I feel like everybody prepares to play in secondary. We lost Blay on the field, but he was still vocal on the sideline. He was still out there coaching us, coaching Will Nimmo. And a big shout out to Will Nimmo. You stepped up in the big game and came out there and played. And to all the DBs out there, Kirkwood, Hump, ZZ, Kenny Churchwell, we all went out there and we just played our game.
For both of you, what's it like just on the sideline when you're watching Zach break out for those big runs?
It's nothing new. We see it every day at practice. Saw it all spring ball, fall camp. He can do whatever you want to try to stop him, but he's going to get those yards no matter what.
The boy's a workhorse, man. I'd be like, dang, out there missing tackles, man. Like, dang, forcing tackles. Coach Foss always said you got to make the first guy miss, so he does that pretty often, makes the first guy miss.
Have you seen him take a next step this season?
Wait, you repeat the question?
Have you seen Zach take a next step this season?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Just with his work ethic, just being in the weight room, watching film, he's one of the hardest workers on the team, so he just elevates everyone around him, especially in the running back room, I believe.
One more right here. Yeah, guys. What was the locker room like after a win like this?
We were turned up.
It's exciting, Did our little Bruin chant like we do every week after we win, so, it's nothing new. Enjoy the win and move on.
Yeah, winning's not easy. So when we get a big win like this, got to celebrate. Got to. Dan, like I said, only for 24 hours, and we're on to the next.
Thank you.